Hi, I'm Matthew Cullen, and I want to talk to you today about the A.R.C communication system. Now, I designed the A.R.C communication system because what I was finding was that most approaches to teaching communication skills were either so simple that they didn't really have any real impact for the person, or they were so complex and so full of technical detail and jargon that people weren't really sure what they'd be able to get out of it, or even whether they'd understand it. So I designed the A.R.C communication system to be a bridge between those two places. So it's something that is very, very simple to get to grips with to begin with. And just understanding the basics of it will really transform your communications. But also it's something which, because it is so flexible, you can continually add more pieces to it, and it becomes more and more sophisticated as you learn more about the different technologies that we teach. So that's things like NLP and hypnosis and techniques from psychology as well. Now, the reason that I decided that I wanted to do this was because a lot of people were coming to me with some fairly diverse challenges. So some people would come and see me and they would want to get into a new job, but they hated the idea of putting their CV online, waiting for a recruiter to ring, and then having to speak to that recruiter and not really knowing what to say. Other people were perfectly okay with that part, but the idea of actually walking into a job interview and then freezing up, mind going blank, and not being able to put themselves across in the way that they know that they really should do was awful to them. So they're stuck in a job that they hate just because of these very simple challenges, but challenges which are huge to them. Other people were seeing me because there was someone in their life that they really wanted to tell how much that person meant to them, but for whatever reasons the words just wouldn't come out. Or they knew that they were in danger of losing somebody from their relationship, and they wanted to say whatever that one thing is that would make them stay, but A, they didn't know what it was, and B, even if they did, they felt that they probably wouldn't be able to say it. So I developed a system which was flexible enough to work with all of those different challenges, but also simple enough so that anyone could pick it up and start using it straight away and get great results with it straight away. And the way I did that was to break it down into really, really simple components. Because if you remember learning anything that was initially challenging, like learning to ride a bike or learning to drive a car, then you did that by breaking each part of the challenge down and focusing on just one thing at a time. It's the same thing when babies are learning to walk. If you see when babies try to do this thing for the first time, they'll stand up and they'll hold on for something for a few seconds, and then the legs will give way and they'll fall down. But they'll keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it, and eventually they'll get to the point where they can stand up quite happily and the legs are strong enough for them to be able to do that. They've learned the techniques and strategies, and their body has learned to do it as well. Then they'll start to put one foot in front of the other, and they'll have the same set of challenges where they'll put one foot in front of the other and then they'll immediately fall down. But soon they'll be walking one foot in front of the other, holding onto something, and then eventually, in fact not that long from that point, they'll be walking quite happily on their own. The A.R.C communication system does exactly the same thing with communication, because communication can be a very natural sounding thing, but it's actually quite a complex behaviour. So we've broken it down into different bits, if you like, different chunks that you can focus on, and each chunk has a specific purpose. But because it sits within the A.R.C framework, you always know exactly why you're learning it and what it will do for you. So the A.R.C communication system is very flexible because it's made up of four different parts. Firstly, it's a mindset. It's a set of attitudes and understandings about how you're creating your own subjective experience and how other people are doing the same. When you adopt these attitudes right from the very beginning, I can pretty much guarantee that you will immediately get much better results from your communications. It's also a strategy that takes you from where you are in your communication to where you want to get to in your communication. So that could be a single communication of sitting down and shaking hands with someone all the way through to signing the deal, or it could be a more general pattern like that interview or speaking to recruiters on the phone, where you know that every time it happens the same thing happens and you just want to get out of that and run a different pattern. So instead of walking into that interview and having all those negative emotions come up, you walk into that interview and you have all the positive emotions come up that will allow you to really be yourself and really shine. It's also a set of tools and techniques that work both on events in the past and on events that are going on for you right now, so that you can almost prepare yourself in advance before you walk into, say, for example, that job interview. Also, you can change what events in the past mean to you, because Some people think that their problem is actually an event in the past, some big thing that happened to them which explains why it is that they can't communicate the way that they want to communicate. But actually that's not true. The problem they have is right now. It's the way that they experience that event in the present moment. And that's something that absolutely can be changed using some of the techniques that we teach. The result of doing that is that unconsciously you will then communicate much more impactfully, much more congruently and much better. You will get much better results when you deal with those things in the past and you deal with the things in the present as well. And finally, NLP is a set of psychological understandings, not just about how your own mind works, but also about how other people's minds work. Because although we're all individuals and we're all completely different, we have different experiences in the past, also there are predictable structures inside of every single person's mind that you can pick up on through the things that they say and the behaviours that they do. And then you can tailor your communication to their own processing to get much better results. So in a nutshell, that's the A.R.C communication system. That's why it's so flexible, that's why it's so powerful. And what's truly revolutionary about it is that it's a framework that starts very simple and allows for massive complexity as you move through the different levels with the Portico initiative. So I hope that's interesting to you. I'm teaching the A.R.C communication system for the first time on Wednesday the 15th of July at our Leather Lane training venue, so that's 18 Leather Lane. The cost is £4. You can join it through our meetup groups, so we run the London NLP meetup and we run the London Psychology meetup as well. So go to either of those groups on meetup.com and you can RSVP from there. If you don't want to be on Meetup or you don't have a Meetup account, then you can also email us at info@portico-i.com or phone us on the phone number that you'll find on our website. So we hope to see you on Wednesday. Have a great weekend.